What's up YouTube, this is Terrell Davis and I am coming to you with another video. This time I am looking at the past episode of Smackdown last night and just going to review some of the highlights and all of the key developments coming out of that show. Now, this episode of Smackdown, it was coming from Hartford, Connecticut, the same place that Raw was supposed to be at, but fortunately with the snowstorm they had to make the impromptu show at the WWE headquarters. So yes, last night they actually had it at Hartford, Connecticut. So getting into it, the show starts off with Triple H. You know, obviously Triple H comes out to address the crowd, and of course he addresses the Royal Rumble match itself and the controversy behind the match. By controversy, I mean when The Rock comes out to help Roman Reigns fend off the Big Show and Kane. Now, may I remind you, this was after the fact that Kane and Big Show were eliminated from the match. And there's been so many things that were buzzing all over the internet about how whether or not The Rock should have came out to help Reigns, or whether or not it was fair, whether or not Reigns would have won if The Rock came out there. Let's just be honest. I mean, Reigns did not need The Rock's help, even though at the time, obviously, if you're getting beat down by a couple of guys, obviously you're going to need help. But let's just keep this within the realm, okay? He does not need help. He didn't need help to win the match, okay? But if you're getting beat down by a couple of guys, obviously he's going to need some help. But let's just throw that theory right out of the window. He won the match fair and square. Rock came out when Kane and Big Show were already eliminated, but they were sore losers, so they have to come in and try to beat him down some more. And he even got out the ring once they cleared him out. And when Rusev came in, Reigns took care of Rusev, and then The Rock came back in, and that's when they started celebrating. So there shouldn't be any controversy. The only controversy that I see is the crowd. Obviously, the crowd going crazy over the fact that Reigns won the match itself. And by crazy, I mean rioting. I mean, they may as well have rioted. But back to Triple H, he mentions that on Monday Night Raw, he's going to make a major announcement that's going to shake the universe to its core. Now, I've had a little bit to think about that, and honestly, only thing I can do is speculate. I mean, is he going to address Sting? Is he going to do something with this match? And I hope he doesn't mess up this main event, because like I said before, Reigns won fair and square. Reigns even came out to address the fact that he won fair and square. So I can't really put my finger on what the announcement is going to be. Obviously, we're going to have to wait till Monday to find out. And speaking of Reigns, when he came out and addressed Triple H, of course he was getting a little bit of the same reaction that he got when he won the Royal Rumble match itself. You know, there was a few people showing him some love, but then there's a lot of other people that were booing him and everything. And once he addressed Triple H about, hey, I won the match fair and square. There shouldn't be any type of controversy. And then next thing you know, Triple H gives Reigns Big Show in the match, and it was a chance to gain some of that fans' love, that adoration, that respect, and I felt as though he did that, with his match, especially in his win over the Big Show. Now, WWE, I'm going to ask you a question, and I'm asking you, please, 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 do not make another Roman Reigns versus Big Show match. No offense to the Big Show, nothing against him. I mean, he's going to be in the Hall of Fame one day. But we do not need to see another Roman Reigns versus Big Show match, okay? Roman Reigns beat him 1, 2, 3 in the middle of the ring. There was no controversy with that. He won clean. Can you give Roman Reigns some quality opponents? Okay? Now, I know that's what a lot of the complaints are about, is that Roman Reigns doesn't have enough quality opponents. Well, if I can think of one person that comes to mind, obviously it's Seth Rollins, which is why I can think of maybe that's a part of Triple H's announcement. It's something to do with Seth Rollins, because Seth Rollins is obviously his golden boy. So there wouldn't be a championship match without Seth Rollins in it, right? So at this point, it's a lot of speculation. Can't really get into it. Can't really know until Monday night, and once he makes the announcement. So, and I just hope it doesn't screw up the main event. I really want it to stay the way it is. Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns, with Paul Heyman doing his magic, carrying them both, and of course Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar carrying themselves in the match itself, delivering a quality match worthy of Match of the Year, which, again, I believe that's what it's going to be, Match of the Year. So, shifting gears, as we get into the show, another key development, obviously, one major development coming out of the Royal Rumble would be John Cena and Rusev. Now, obviously, there's been rumors flying around that John Cena and Rusev were supposed to face off at some point, and since Rusev is still undefeated, nobody's ever beaten him by pinfall submission, that John Cena was going to be the guy to do it. I don't know how to feel about that. I just feel like it's unpredictable, to be honest with you. No, I'm sorry. It's predictable. I think it's predictable because, when you associate John Cena with anything, it's a championship belt. Like, he's received push after push after push after push, which is what's angering a lot of fans, a lot of hardcore fans and casual fans. And although I do agree that he does get a whole lot of championship opportunities over people that do deserve him a lot more, I just feel like him delivering Rusev's first loss is going to be somewhat predictable. I think Rusev is very powerful, and it'll be interesting to see what happens, this coming pay-per-view, the Fastlane, and then, of course, at WrestleMania, because you already know they're going to face each other at WrestleMania, but it'll be interesting to see. I really, honestly, I want Rusev to continue the undefeated streak, to be honest with you, and let somebody else, knock him off, you know what I mean? Like, having John Cena do it's very, very predictable, and I think a lot of fans are expecting it, and it would throw a huge curveball to have Rusev beat Cena, and then have somebody along the road beat Rusev. The only reason why I'm hyping Rusev is I can only imagine when Roman Reigns wins that WWE World Heavyweight Championship at WrestleMania, because he's going to. It's going to be a challenge, but he's going to. The battles that him and Rusev will have, and Roman Reigns becoming the guy to beat him 1, 2, 3 and deliver him that first loss. That's just me. That's, hey, guy can dream, right? That's something that I would love to see. But, and then we get into the casket match with Daniel Bryan and Kane. Obviously they're trying to end that rivalry, and they both put on a good match. Daniel Bryan came out on top. This guy is, obviously he's angry that he didn't win the Rumble match. A lot of fans are saying that, that he should have won. And to address that, I just think, you know, I just don't understand like what the fans are wanting here. You know what I mean? Daniel Bryan has received his push. Like, he received a lot of pushes. He's been, you know, the World Heavyweight Champion before. He's been WWE World Heavyweight Champion. Now, the times when he won the World Heavyweight Championship were both on, you know, controversial terms. You know, when he beat John Cena at SummerSlam a couple years ago, and then next thing you know, Randy Orton comes in and, you know, cashes in his Money in the Bank contract, and that's it. And then he didn't have the championship for not even 10, 15 minutes when Randy Orton came out. And then the second time at WrestleMania last year, he finally won it again, and then a month later, Kane injures him and puts him on the shelf, and he has to give up the titles. But it's not like he hasn't held the championship. I'm sorry. It's not like he hasn't received the push. You guys are acting like he hasn't received the push at all. Lay off. Lay off of it. Daniel Bryan is talented, okay? And I guess what I'm trying to get at is maybe I'm just not as sold on Daniel Bryan as everybody else is. Don't get me wrong, I like the yes. I like the whole yes thing, and you know, I think he is talented in the ring and everything like that, and he works his butt off and stuff like that, but there's a whole bunch of other guys that work their butts off. A whole bunch of other guys that deserve to be pushed and deserve to be in that title scene and everything like that. I mean, give them a chance. And this is Roman Reigns' turn to, you know, be in that conversation. He's never had a chance to hold, you know, a major championship, a single championship. And obviously, you know, he's never held a mid-card title like the Intercontinental or the U.S. title, but honestly, at this point, is it really worth him holding that? Because they're not really treating the Intercontinental or the U.S. title as something that's prestigious right now. I mean, if you count Rusev bashing America, you know, it's kind of ironic he's holding the U.S. title, but he's bashing America at the same time. And then, yeah, Wade Barrett with the Intercontinental title, but he's, ever since he won the title, he hasn't, his win-loss record has been pretty spotty. So, I mean, I don't understand, like, him holding one of those titles, what that would accomplish. I mean, I think there would be just as much complaints about him holding one of those titles as it is holding the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. So, you know, and there's been wrestlers before that, you know, that never held a mid-card title and held the championship first. A la Sheamus and Alberto Del Rio. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe those two guys would be the guys that I'm thinking about. Another key development too is Bray Wyatt. You know, he had a eerie promo. One of the things that people are saying is that maybe it was directed towards The Undertaker, because one rumor anyway that's supposed to happen at WrestleMania is that Bray Wyatt and The Undertaker are supposed to square off. I mean, I think it'd be an interesting match because, you know, it'll be a chance for Bray Wyatt to really elevate his status within the WWE by beating a legend like The Undertaker. I just think, you know, I just kind of wish that, you know, The Undertaker had his undefeated streak still, and a guy like Bray Wyatt could, you know, come in and, you know, do his thing and beat the streak, and then he would be elevated. But either way, I mean, if you get a win over somebody like The Undertaker, a legend who's been in WWE for years, I mean, either way, I mean, you're doing something right, you know. And but again, at this point, it's mere speculation, so it ain't no telling, you know, whether or not he was addressing The Undertaker or not. But who knows? We'll find out in the coming weeks. really, that was about it. Those are some of the key developments that I took away from the show. Um, I mean, it was a pretty solid show. And they try to follow up to what I felt was a powerful Monday Night Raw. Given that there was really no ring, there was no crowd, there's no mics, no scripts, no nothing like that. It was just the announce team and interviewing wrestlers and very powerful stuff there. So it's going to be very interesting to see what Monday Night Raw is going to be like. And I guess one thing to watch out for on Monday Night Raw is obviously that announcement that Triple H is going to make. It's supposed to be a very, very huge announcement, so it's to change everything. So we can only speculate what that is. I'm just hoping that doesn't screw up the main event of WrestleMania. And then again, one thing I could be thinking about too is maybe this is a way for the writers to kind of have a little storyline where they're stacking the deck against Roman Reigns. Who knows? Maybe this is this is a way of them showing Roman Reigns proving himself while at the same time trying to fend off the Authority so he can go to WrestleMania in one piece and face Brock Lesnar. So like I said, none but speculation. I can speculate all day, but until Monday Night Raw gets here and until he makes that announcement, we're not going to know what's going to go on. And so Raw and WrestleMania continues on Monday night, and a bunch of developments going on. I mean, it'll be interesting to see the Cena-Rusev rivalry and see what they do next with Daniel Bryan, if him and Dolph Ziggler are going to have a match at WrestleMania. I think that'd be a classic match there. And that's it. So anyways, you guys have a good weekend and enjoy the Super Bowl. Hopefully, if you guys are going to the parties, drink responsibly, drive responsibly, and have a safe weekend. And I'll see you guys back here on Monday night as we review Monday Night Raw. Peace.